Hello and welcome to LOPR Aftershock for the WWE Royal Rumble. Hopefully everything is working correctly. I've got quite a lot to check up on, and I think I'm live on Spreaker. I'm pretty certain I'm live on YouTube, so everything's going fine. Anyway, so you can send me messages and things on Spreaker and losofpain.net, on YouTube itself if you're tuning in on YouTube. Oh my word, I've got audio coming out somewhere. Where's my audio coming out of? It's coming out of my laptop because I'm really smart. Right, there we go. Right then. LOPR Aftershock for the WWE Royal Rumble. Let's move my notes closer. The first WWE pay-per-view of the decade. Hello, welcome again properly to Lords of Pain Radio Aftershock without the technical stuff all about. For the 2020 WWE Royal Rumble, we are live immediately following the show going off. It went off about 10-13 minutes ago. I had a lot to set up. I was running around like a crazy man. Gone 25 past when I was meant to go live. I'm running around. I don't have my headphones. I've not got an extension cable for my laptop I've written all my notes on. So it went really well. It went really, really well. I'm not even put out the tweet saying we're live because it's quite late. It is 4:30 in the morning about for me. And I feel like I'm way more awake than I should be at this time. Well, I was expecting to be going live at like 5 a.m. or something ridiculous for this, so this is quite nice to be doing this. But anyway, do send in whatever your feelings are about the Royal Rumble. I'm having issues with things, but hopefully I get messages through. But anyway, this was a 4-hour show, we're just overward, and the first hour was interesting. They did something I wasn't expecting by having the Women's Rumble so early. The second hour and the kind of half of the third start to drag a little bit, but having both Rumbles start in an interesting place meant that the show wasn't as bad, and half the matches got moved to the pre-show, which I did not watch, because I'm not a crazy man. No, I am not listening, and I'm not watching the 2-hour pre-show when you're already getting about 4.5 hours out of me. Then I've got to do this LOPR Aftershock as well. So, hooray! Oh, if you're listening, Steve, we still miss you. Please come back. Anyway, the Royal Rumble. So we've just ended with the main event. In my notes, I've got it in order. But no, let's start with the men's main event because I've just finished watching it. So, I'll talk about the match overall. In the end, I ended up really, really liking it. I guess the consensus on Twitter seems to be really positive as well, which is great to see. So that is nice to be seeing that kind of thing. So thumbs up in the department of, I guess, most people's opinion. I really, really liked it as well. Drew McIntyre, 100% the correct winner, which is awesome to see. I'd called Roman Reigns, but in the progress of the match, there's still too much. He's too damaged. I thought, personally, he might be fixed enough, really, but watching the course of the match, I realised I was wrong, and it was the right decision to not have him win. Once again, Roman Reigns is the second person from the end and doesn't end up winning. After the, I guess, which, I can't remember if he was eliminated second to last elimination in 2016, but he won in he was second, he was the final person eliminated in 2014. He won in 2015. Second to last, so there were 3 people remaining when he went out in 2016. 17, he was the last guy eliminated. 18, he was the last guy eliminated. Last year, he wasn't fit, he was out of it. And then this year, he was also, again, the last guy eliminated. So, a streak building for Roman Reigns. So that is interesting to see that's kept up, that he's still not won. I feel like, is that a story that's building? Or is it just because he's their guy, but they can't have him win, so they have him be the penultimate guy? So, yeah, you can put someone over like that. And that's what he did tonight with Drew McIntyre. He got the massive rub from Lesnar and the massive rub of winning that as well. So that was great. There were many more surprises across the match, but I've got a copious amount of notes that I've written during this, so I'm going to go through them all for this match as we blast through it. So, I've got it written down as the 33rd annual men's Royal Rumble match. Don't know how accurate that is. But we started off with, I'm getting right into it. So, we started off with Brock Lesnar entering at number 1, as we all knew beforehand. And as we probably should have known going into the thing, Elias went in as number 2. Oh yes, of course it's Elias. He sings us a lovely song and sends us a lovely song before eventually getting battered, even though he said he wouldn't do on SmackDown. Not a smart move, Elias. Guitar Cross the Singer's back, and he's the first to go. Here we go, ladies and gents. Just a wee moment of dominance for the Lesnar here. We are about to enter in this period for the Men's Rumble. So I've realised the setup I've got isn't working because I'm not speaking into the microphone. So that's bloody irritating. Rotating, making noises. This is not going to work. Right. Next up. Hopefully this still works. Number 3 with Lesnar pouncing around. It's Eric Rowan with his "What's in the box" gimmick. Unfortunately, all we can tell is it wasn't a box of luck. Whatever. It took 8 seconds for Brock to eliminate him, and on to the next guy we go. Number 4, Robert Roode. Not exactly a glorious number to draw for the Canadian. At least he got in a few punches before getting countered F5'd and eliminated. So, if you want a positive, that's what I've got. Number 5, John Morrison. This caught me off guard a bit. I thought he and Miz might get a thing a little bit later. So, unlucky ducky for John Morrison. The Beast immediately catches him and German suplexes him over the top rope. Morrison made that look awesome as hell. So, this whole Lesnar thing so far, it's entertaining. I'm just hoping the heavy hitters start to change things over the next 5 or so at some point. I was thinking if they went all the way to 10, might start to get old a bit fast. They came up with an idea to play it out a bit, but he got that consensus. It was, especially after 10, there were a lot of people not enjoying it. I thought they handled it relatively well. So number 6 was Kofi Kingston, and everybody rubs their hands. It's like, well then. Or probably not. The crowd were right behind Kofi, but WWE aren't though. So yeah, for heat you shall be used. Lesnar beats him up, but he doesn't eliminate him, which is interesting. Number 7, out comes Rey Mysterio, dressed up as Bat Mysterio. The lad who took it to Lesnar back at Survivor Series, but not tonight, really. Suplexes! Lesnar continues to dominate, he's just not eliminating everybody. So he's still ruling the Rumble, he's not eliminating people to keep it one-on-one the entire time. In comes number 8, Big E. It's a new day. Yes, it is. He lifts up Rey and Kofi, who are on the outside after getting beaten up. He then lifts them up and lifts up their spirits to then join him and all run in together. 3-on-1. That's nice and smart from Big E. Trouble in Paradise from Kofi. Big ending from Big E. 619 from Rey Mysterio. Then they start doing the running train into the corner. But Mysterio then gets launched out of the ring. It was an awesome, I guess, jump off of Kofi Kingston. No, it was a jump off of Big E onto Kofi Kingston from Lesnar. They went flying into him. That was an awesome spot. Then Langston himself goes flying out of the ring. And then Kingston is next to get F5'd outside. And Houston boos in disappointment. It's like, yes, but what else did we expect? Really. Number 9 was Cesaro. Cesaro? Ugh, I said his name wrong, but who cares in this match? Isn't it? Cesaro entered, and my notes literally just read, yeah, no. And that's Cesaro gone. Number 10, the Minnesota Buddies of Shelton Benjamin comes down to join Brock Lesnar, and Heyman plays it up as well, and Lesnar plays it up, and they spend like a full minute being friends. And it's kind of like, I loved how they did at least sell their friendship for a bit. But silly Shelton gets suplexed for his friendship belief. And now, with 10 gone, we were at the point where the match felt like it needed to start shifting. The thing with Big E, Rey Mysterio and Kofi had been a nice little moment, but then we immediately started entering with Cesaro and then Shelton Benjamin, and we started entering once again a run of people just immediately running in and get eliminated once again. It's kind of like, this is where it starts to worry a little bit, because there's always the chance they could Yokozuna on the boat this. Then just, he gets rid of everybody. Then Lex Luger comes down and wins. And if you're doing it in that pattern, whoever that is, like, I'm not entirely sure of that. Number 11 is the IC champion Shinsuke Nakamura. Oh dear. Out he goes. Number 12, MVP as Black Panther. So, a nice double surprise there. MVP. His music started playing and I was just like, oh yeah, MVP. Oh shit, MVP! That was awesome. That's great. So MVP came in, dressed up in his Black Panther get-up, so that was cool. First match in a decade, if I'm right, in the WWE for MVP. Very smartly, he chases Heyman around the ring instead of getting in and getting clobbered. Lesnar instead then just catches him, drags him into the ring, and oh well. F5 and elimination for MVP. The pattern continues. But it kind of stops here a little bit. Number 13 is Keith Lee, and Houston erupts. Fair to say they remember, they've watched Keith Lee maybe on NXT on USA, but also at Survivor Series, Keith Lee got put over a massive deal. Lesnar essentially just goes, "Ooh, big boy," which I thought was hilarious. I am paraphrasing a little bit, but that's essentially his reaction. Just, "Ooh, big boy." That's technically not a gag because he actually did that and it was hilarious. As it was happening, I was thinking, will WWE make a star out of him? Because we saw it with Bianca Belair in the women's, so spoilers for later. But it's kind of like, could they make a star out of Keith Lee? And I feel like they kind of did, because he stood up to Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar wasn't... He technically eliminated him, but it wasn't just Lesnar that was able to do it compared to the others. So, did we... We didn't really follow the pattern set by this match, but with the Women's Rumble having quite a few NXT people also enter and immediately get thrown out, it was a little bit worrying. A precedent had been set. But he doesn't get eliminated. He squares up against Brock Lesnar and holds his own. Number 14 was Braun Strowman. Down come the big boys. Corner charges for everybody. A mighty dropkick for Keith Lee. A ringside charge for Keith Lee. Back in the ring with a clothesline for Lesnar. German suplex to the Monster, to the Limitless, and both again Lesnar starts to rule the roost. And difference being now that Lesnar's showing fatigue. He himself then just lays down on the ring after German suplexing everybody, compared to earlier where he was running rampant. So he takes big lights down and then he's lying himself on the ring. Lee and Strowman then get back up and they start fighting against each other. They go one-on-one and they then lean up against the ropes. Oh dear, we can see where this is going. Up runs Lesnar and eliminates them both. Oh dear. So out go the big lads. But Keith Lee got to feel like a big deal. Lesnar could not take him down. So it's kind of, in terms of like building for the future for Keith Lee coming up, I feel like this was great, whilst also eliminating him so he's not there later on, because obviously something else happens relatively soon. Number 15 to Marcus halfway, it's Ricochet. And immediately it's like, is he going to get his own back on Brock Lesnar? And I'm just sitting there thinking, will he get kicked in the dick this time? Where goes my monetization on YouTube? The answer is no. And they just he immediately jumps into Brock Lesnar's arms and gets taken down, and Lesnar just toys around with him for a little bit. Then number 16 is Drew McIntyre. Right then, he entered as the bookie's favourite, and as soon as he came out, there was this feeling around the crowd of, right, does he have weight or will he just be another victim? When he enters the ring, it's him and Brock Lesnar, but strikes Ricochet. Down he goes. McIntyre hits the Claymore, and Brock is eliminated, and Houston goes crazy. Which is... The reaction was incredible, like people standing on their feet, cheering. You got the Hey Hey Goodbye song. It was an awesome moment, and it's just like, in that moment, it was like, yeah, it worked. He saw a lot of people on Twitter getting really kind of worried, as in they weren't enjoying it. I saw lots of tweets, people saying, this is the worst Rumble ever, and I'm just sitting there thinking, they could Yokozuna on the boat this, but we're only at that point, we weren't even halfway really when I started seeing those tweets and calling this the worst Rumble ever. I'm just like, wait to see how this builds. It's a very quick reaction to have when we don't know the entire story. I don't quite understand reacting quite like that. But Drew McIntyre eliminated him, and for me, that the reaction proved that the tactic worked. They didn't just have Lesnar dominate for a bit like CM Punk, they had him rule the roost. And that created such a different feeling. They really hyped up his performance as one of the best in Rumble history. And when he got eliminated, the crowd went absolutely mental. It was an awesome sight to see. And an awesome moment for Drew McIntyre as well. Ricochet then tried for a shooting star onto McIntyre. I must have missed something. There must have been the back and forth of some sort. Instead, McIntyre caught the lad when he landed. He sat up, then stood up, and launched Ricochet over the top rope. Another awesome-looking elimination as Ricochet goes spinning and flying. That was amazing to see. Number 17 is The Miz, with Morrison getting eliminated earlier. Don't like his odds. Really, I'm not sure entering here would be any better than entering earlier on against Lesnar like Morrison did. Drew quickly countered into the Future Shock and then went straight back to staring at Lesnar, who was at ringside, and he's looking at him, staring a hole right through him, saying that I'm going to challenge for your title. Which, again, kind of cool to see, foreshadowed. Claymore kick to the Miz, and he's lifted up and thrown over the top rope. Now it's McIntyre ruling the Rumble and making sure he stares holes through Lesnar while doing so. So, I feel like they were said at the end of the pay-per-view, who is he going to challenge? And I'm like, they told you. They told you who he's going to challenge, but of course you're ending the show on a bit of intrigue to try and get you to tune in, even though they've told you. But the commentators, they didn't tell you. Drew McIntyre did in the ring, so I'm fine with that. It's alright. Number 18 is AJ Styles. No, they don't want one. He tangles with McIntyre for a tad, and as it kind of slowed down the pace a bit, it looks like the ring is going to fill out from here. 19, Dolph Ziggler. The man with a history with Drew, so this might not be... That might be a bit of a bad thing tonight. He does get clobbered, but he doesn't get eliminated. 20, as the ring starts to fill out, and Carl Anderson enters. So it turns out with Rusev and... I can't believe I say his name. With Rusev and Bobby Lashley both ruled out. I think they said something about a brawl or something. I wasn't really paying attention. I know they brawled on Raw, but I don't know if they said they had another brawl in a parking lot or something. It's like, yeah, I could have believed if it was they weren't able to continue from Monday Night Raw. I think I would have been fine with that. Not really necessary to, I guess, go super crazy with it all. But yeah. So Carl Anderson then comes down. So the OC have more than one in the Rumble this time, so Luke Gallows was to enter later. The three heels in AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler and Anderson try to eliminate the Big Scott in Drew McIntyre, but Styles and Anderson turn on Mr. Ziggles and beat him up instead. So poor Ziggles. 21, it's Edge! And again, Houston, go crazy. This is the second time this match, an amazing reaction as Metalingus by Outerbridge blast throughout the arena. You think you know me? Da, 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 da. Oh, it was awesome. And obviously, he soaked in the reaction as well, which it always moves me when they do that. I love it when that happens. So he soaks in the reaction, goes into the ring. Production misses his first spear. It's like, I mean, it didn't really take away from the moment. It was more of a, oh, you numpties kind of a thing. And he looks in absolutely amazing shape, Edge. So, yeah. And they caught all of the rest of his spears. So, it was spears for everybody. He then squared off with AJ Styles in the middle of the ring, whilst 2009 me went crazy. The face of TNA versus, like, the biggest... I think he was a heel in 2009. For my Edge kind of did his shift from heel to face. Oh, it's because he got injured. That was it. I'm an idiot. But, yeah. 2009 me going crazy watching AJ Styles and Edge go up against each other. As the ring continues to fill out, number 22 is King Corbin. Oh yay! Whatever the opposite of Edge's pop was, this is it. And of course, in terms of, oh, I wonder who it's going to be. Of course, is it the klaxon? That went, eh. And then they had to load the CGI. So it's the not virtual reality, the augmented reality. They had to load all the CGI for that. So that comes up before his music plays. Like, oh, I wonder who it will be with all these crappy Corbin flags dangling there. But yeah, so whatever that was. In the midst of this little spell, after Corbin comes in, gets in a bit of offense, Edge eliminates AJ Styles. Was that meant to happen? So I did my best during this match to not really go on to Twitter. Obviously, I failed earlier on looking at the Lesnar stuff, and I popped on to see everybody's reactions to Edge. Because obviously that's a massive moment. But for the majority of the match, I tried to kind of stay away, especially for this final portion, so I could decide myself how I felt. Because Twitter's often very critical. It's either the best thing in the world or the worst thing ever. You don't really know which one it's going to be. So I didn't really see people talking about this, but yeah, Edge eliminated AJ Styles. I don't know if that's meant to happen. There were a few looks of confusion, maybe. Possibly AJ Styles lost his grip. He appeared to clutch his arm. Yeah, something like that. It happens. Obviously, with the Royal Rumble, there's the highest stake of if something goes wrong, then you can muck up a whole sequence or something. But it happens. Yeah, it looks like he lost his grip rather than genuinely that was meant to be when he went out, because it's a little bit odd. Yeah, so out went AJ Styles. Number 23, bro. Matt Riddle comes out to another massive reaction for the NXT guy. Kicks for everybody. But then Corbin eliminates him. It's like, oh, I guess the big bad baddie needs heat, bro. Unlucky. Matt Riddle. There was a tweet put out by Ryan Satin about Matt Riddle having some beef with Brock Lesnar backstage. So I don't know if this was like he got swapped to this spot after getting backstage heat, or because Ryan Satin, because of now how close he is to WWE with him working on backstage, I feel like I can't trust his reports that much, really. Like, I need somebody else. I'll have to go to like 3 or 4 different sites before I trust his report. So I can say, he said that, but I don't have that much faith in the reporting anymore. Yeah, so, yeah. Anyway, number 24 is Luke Gallows. So Luke Gallows is next. Assumedly, his role has a slightly less of an impact after AJ Styles getting eliminated. And in the gap between him and the next guy, McIntyre eliminates Corbin to a little bit of confusion. So Corbin getting another elimination on one of the bigger names in the match. 25 is Randy Orton. RKO for Gallows. RKO for somebody else that I missed because I was writing RKO for Gallows. He then stares down Edge in another moment the crowd are like, oh yes. As Ray and RKO are reunited. And the OC get beaten up and Anderson and Gallows are out of here. So unlucky lads. Number 26 is Roman Reigns with his hair that is still wet. He destroys Dolph Ziggler before launching him back into catering. And they make sure when Roman Reigns is coming down to the ring to say that number 26 is the latest number that somebody hasn't won from. And that is the kind of thing which you would think, oh, they're telling me that because he's likely to win. It's like, oh, that's why I'm being given that information. But often in Royal Rumbles, they'll give you that information to throw you off the scent, to make you think that is why they're bringing it up. When really it's building a bigger picture like he could be the person to change this, and it's Roman Reigns. At number 27, the most common number of winner, Kevin Owens with Samoa Joe still to come. I was like, I don't really like KO's chances because I sense a thing. That wasn't at all how it played out, but I sensed a thing. Yeah. But for now, cannonballs to everybody, pop-up powerbomb to Drew McIntyre, super kick to Reigns, and a stunner. Orton stalks him from an RKO, but he gets caught with a stunner himself. So Kevin Owens not eliminating everybody, but having a bit of a moment. I lost what I was going to say there. Number 28 is Aleister Black, who I forgot was in the match. Really? That's a bit of a shame. It's like, oh, I love Aleister Black. Oh, yeah. I feel like he might have been a good one, I guess, after Drew and Ricochet had their moment and he comes out in that gap. But of course, it's The Miz, and then you build it up pretty strongly after that immediately. So unless you get him immediately, it's good they kept him away from Brock Lesnar and then the Drew McIntyre kind of assuming control afterwards. But also, he held his own a bit. He got eliminated pretty easily, I thought, in the end. But after he entered, he killed everybody in the ring with his awesome kicks. So that sims him down a little bit, but yeah. 29, Samoa Joe. The ring's becoming more and more loaded with these bigger names as we close in at number 30. I'll read your thing in a moment, so Sam. Sorry, pop up. And number 30 is Seth Rollins. Burn it down. I've lost my voice. And oh dear, he's brought his friends with him. This might not end well for the lads still in the ring. Joe and Kevin Owens go right after them. They go out of the ring to attack the guys, continuing from Monday Night Raw. They then obviously Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe get the crap beaten out of them, and then the Messiah's men start dragging folk out of the ring to beat them up and throw them into the announcers' tables. Edge and Randy Orton got the biggest of launchings. I guess if that's completely take them out. It creates chaos as well. Curb stomped McIntyre, Reigns and Black, the final guy being to the aid of Murphy to kind of link that together. Owens hits a stunner on the Messiah and launches him over, but AOP catch him and put him back in. Owens, for some reason, reaches over the top rope to try and get the AOP, so Seth Rollins back in the ring obviously just tips him over. Like, you numpty, Kevin. And obviously, that doesn't create great odds for Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe locks Seth Rollins into a choke, and Murphy attacks from behind, which allows Rollins to throw him out too. So the Messiah and his men eliminated both Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe to, I guess, continue their feud going forward to the next pay-per-view or whatever. The brawl ensues and Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens go out with the Messiah's disciples, which then means that Seth Rollins is by himself. So Seth Rollins got his big Healy moment, eliminated 2 guys we love, and now he stood in the middle of the ring, 5-on-1. Oh dear, he's going to pay for his sins. So Seth Rollins then stood in the middle of the ring, surrounded by the folk he just wronged. Everybody then got the slice of the pie before Reigns says bye-bye to his former Shield brother. Every move you can think of, Seth Rollins was victim to it. And with that, we have our final 4. Drew McIntyre, Edge, Randy Orton, and Roman Reigns. A nice little back and forth between them. The first big spot really for me was the double RKO to McIntyre, which is kind of... I don't know if that's cool or not. It's a kind of double team where it's like, it's interesting. Afterwards, Orton lurked for an RKO, but got caught. Edge saw him before he could do anything. The two calmed down, and Edge's like, right, let's just calm down. It's 2-on-2, we can just go for the other guys. But then Edge, before Randy Orton can do anything mischievous, Edge catches Randy Orton and chucks him over the top rope, and we have our final 3 of Edge, Orton, and McIntyre. And after that, Edge and Reigns stared down before laying into each other. The crowd are totally into this. Like, they aren't cheering for Roman Reigns, but it's fun as hell in this closing thing with these 3 guys. Edge dodges a spear and hits one of his own. The crowd go mental. Over the top rope, he sends Reigns, but he just holds on with a final grasp on the rope. He pulls Edge over with him. Oh dear, we see Drew McIntyre in the background. But before anything really happens, Roman, I think he kicked the arms out from under Edge, and Edge just fell to the outside. Then we're down to our final 2 of Roman and McIntyre. Rated R Superstar is now gone. So, final 2. Roman goes to send Drew McIntyre over the top rope, but the Scottish psychopath holds on with his big muscles. He elbows Roman in the face. Roman then, in a very smart way, goes for the rebound for something and gets caught with one mighty Claymore. Drew picks him up and out goes Reigns. Drew McIntyre wins the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble. The man once released from WWE now sits atop the mountain with a championship match set for WrestleMania, or Pirate Mania, whatever you want to call it. Cool. They went with something slightly different that wasn't Roman. Thumbs up from me. I bloody loved that match. All round. So well done. The Lesnar thing 100% paid off in the end, therefore the journey was worth it. The build, I feel like Keith Lee came out as a massive deal because Lesnar couldn't take him down by himself. I thought they did an amazing, I guess, with Drew McIntyre as well. He's the guy who came out the biggest and obviously won in the end. They continued the Seth storyline that's going to carry out on Raw really well. It's like, yeah, I've not really got many complaints. I guess the Baron Corbin's elimination felt a little bit weird because of where it came, although it was building Drew McIntyre, so I can't complain too much. And I guess AJ Styles felt like a botch. They happen. I can't really complain about that. But yeah, so anyway, I've had a message through before I move on to the next thing. So, from for Sam. Hello to Sam. Woo, imp. We spoke about Edge winning back in our Power Struggle review. Did we? Good call. Oh, I have no memory of that at all. But that's awesome that we called it. I mean, he didn't win, but yeah, it's awesome that we called that. Yeah, that's great. Anyway. Oh, right. So now I am going to take a drink of water because it knackered me going through that. It took me half an hour to do all that, so well done, mate. Yep. Checking the stream is still live. Oh, right, and check Spreaker for any comments. Don't get many through Spreaker. Right, so I'm going to go through the card in order, so I get ready for, I guess, I might release this tomorrow as I'm thinking maybe a column. I've got like 3,600 words of notes here. So it's like, I could do the Viz McCall thing and release the notes as a column for like Royal Rumble notes or something. I don't have to do any work because I've written it all already. Alright, so first match. Falls Count Anywhere. Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin. Terrifying CGI Roman looms over Minute Maid Park. That was interesting. Favourite Twitter thing I saw about that was somebody saying, like, the edibles are kicking in. And it was a picture of the CGI Roman going, in the forefront with Minute Maid in the background. It was so funny. Yeah. But really, this was a fine opener. They brawled all over the place. It was fun to watch. I didn't really find it anything super spectacular. Every spot you thought would be in there was in there. The commentators get the favourite thing that kind of made me laugh a little bit was the Baron Corbin pointed somewhere, and Corey Graves went, Michael Cole's like, where's he pointing? And Corey Graves was like, hopefully he's not pointing over there where our camera setup is on that rig. Okay, that's where they go then. It just made me laugh a bit. Yeah, but obviously they didn't do anything on there, but it's when the Usos came in later that we got our big splash from there. So we got our big brawly feeling type of thing. We even got poop references, so cool, I guess. During the start of the match, the commentators were fountaining out exposition in the knowledge most people watching this event hadn't watched a single minute of this feud on the award-winning WWE television programs. Over the course of said TV programs, this has been the feud that never ends, going on for months and months. As somebody who writes a column on it every single week, it's been going on for quite a while. And the feud that I always guarantee that 100% will see the light of day come the next pay-per-view. It's not finished. But this match was folks laying punches in walk and brawls, and those are normally fun, if not super spectacular. Well, mostly fun. Okay, can be fun sometimes, as long as it isn't something like John Cena versus the Great Khali. If you remember that from over a decade ago. Oh, that wasn't a classic. After a quick brawl, Reigns and Corbin, they get the table spots out of the way to nicely eliminate that chant from this match. Roman went crashing through the Spanish announce table, followed by Corbin very slowly dragging Reigns over to the international commentators area. But the big dogs, Samoan drops Corbin through two of the tables. Where is Funaki going to sit to commentate now? Think of Funaki. But yeah, with that, they got their table spot, so you're not going to get it in this match anymore. Got it out of the way. Smart. This match really it entered slow states of walking, followed by bursts of action. The next burst was Ziggler and Rude jumping into attack. Slow down a bit. Burst after that was the Usos jumping in themselves to inject some energy. And then you slowly build to the next spot. Peaks and troughs. Jumping Uso off of the structure, whatever it was called. The replay they showed of that showed how awesome it was. After the first one missed it, Edge's spear was foreshadowed. They'd already missed the awesome spot earlier. Superman punch from... I've missed a spot here. So yeah, he's crazy. The other Uso, the thing I missed, was the other Uso getting Corbined onto a propped-up table-like barricade thing. Then in comes Reigns, Superman punching the King, and we're back to our main two having their walk and brawls. Oh, and of course there's a row of Portaloos for Reigns to throw the King into and tip over. I'd like to say it was a top-notch pun from the fans chanting "Holy S word," but they were just chanting it because it's the wrestling chant. Yeah, a bit more walk and brawl, and the next peak was on top of the baseball team dugouts. Corbin got his revenge, swinging a steel chair over Reigns, but before he can end it with the end of days, this led to a spear on top of the dugouts, and immediately like, okay, that was kind of cool. Unique opportunity to hit a spear on top of the dugout. The only next stage obviously being a spear off of the dugout, but it's like right in the middle of the fan setup, so it's not exactly easy. But what they did was kind of cool. Still spear on top of the dugout. In a baseball stadium, that's such a unique opportunity for them to do, so I'm kind of happy they did that. And I'm assuming fans of the baseballs loved that. As you can evidently tell. That is not me. I'm not a baseballs person. But yeah, a fun walk and brawl, if not a spectacular madness type of opener. I'm kind of happy they got it out of the way first. Really. So yeah. Right, number 2. Time for me to earn that second drink of water. A bit of a surprise, as the Women's Royal Rumble was second. Now, in terms of the flow of the show, I think I preferred it this way. Especially because I didn't watch the pre-show, I didn't know that so many matches were shifted. I'm really happy they were. Sheamus Gable, Carrillo versus Andrade, it didn't really have much of a build, so I didn't know why that was on the show as well. It was nice to see those shifted to actually give the show itself a better flow, and I'm really happy it ended like 45 minutes shorter than I was expecting it to, so from a Brit, that is, thank you. Thank you, world. So the third annual Women's Royal Rumble match. Overall, really, it's interesting. I might call this the weakest, but really, technically, if you look at it, how it ages, I guess, in a way, the first one isn't particularly booked super well, but because of all of the occasion of the moment, it didn't really need to be. This match is definitely weaker than last year's, but last year's had the awesome Becky Lynch moment. This one only ever had one winner, and they knew that going in. You knew that with the build, and they did their best to try and... Oh, my phone is making loud noises. They did their best to try and throw the scent off of that. My battery's low. Why are you on? Super professional podcaster. But yeah, they tried to make it interesting and throw you off the scent of, oh, of course Charlotte Flair's going to win. But, yeah, I thought it was fine. I get to my kind of issues with it when I've gone through the entire thing and earned my drink of water. So here we go, the third annual Women's Royal Rumble match. Number 1 is Alexa Bliss representing SmackDown, and number 2 is Bianca Belair from NXT. People immediately on Twitter wishing luck to Alexa Bliss as Bianca Belair comes in. It's like, well, she's going to be motivated and you're going to go flying a little bit. Alexa Bliss, they have their back and forth, more, I guess, strikes and kicks because it's starting off the match. Like last year, they had Lacey Evans try to show her athleticism pretty early, and I would have regarded that as a mistake. Like, let them kind of settle into the occasion first before making them jump all over. But yeah, this was kind of smart. By the end of the countdown, it was a flippy flip-flop from Bianca Belair onto Alexa Bliss after the back and forth had finished. So yeah, number 3, it's Molly Holly back again, but as Mighty Molly, accompanied by the Hurricanes music and all. She was great in the first Women's Rumble, and she got it chance like almost immediately. She just did like 1 or 2 things, and was, I think, it was like a crossbody, and she immediately got chance as she was posing as a superhero. So yeah, I guess good to see Mighty Molly. Of course, that was so long ago. I wouldn't be surprised if loads of people have no idea what's going on there. Because that was like a tiny part of her career. But she looks so happy to be Mighty Molly. That's all to say. Number 4 is Nikki Cross as Bliss's tag team partner enters really early. She helps turn the match into a 2 versus 2. But they pay for that with Belair's awesome strength for doing her, I guess, it's not a burning hammer, but her thing, kind of like that. Dropping one onto the other. Fought back, an awesome sunset bomb from Bliss to Belair, and everybody's down for number 5, and it's Lana! Hooray! Loud boos for the ravishing Russian. Of course, she cuts a promo on her way down to the ring. Yes, she called herself the best double WW superstar. Oh, it was, it was funny. Yeah, she got a reaction. That was kind of all that was needed for that bit. So yeah, still no eliminations. Completely different to the men's. I think it's fair to say. Number 6 is Mercedes Martinez, quickly getting around the place after only being signed a couple weeks ago. She quickly takes out everybody like the badass she is. Lana goes over the top rope, but Martinez can't quite eliminate her, so still no eliminations. Number 7 is Liv Morgan. After skipping the whole Rusev Lana Lashley soap opera stuff, I flat out did not know her theme. So when it hit, I was like, oh, who's this going to... Oh, it's Liv Morgan. Like, of course, I don't know her theme. It makes sense. She immediately eliminated Lana. For some reason, I didn't see that coming, but makes sense, given they played to the fact that Lana isn't a skilled wrestler at all, so Liv Morgan could easily eliminate her. I liked that. She then lays at ringside screaming Lana. She's like, oh... wonder what's going to happen here. And Martinez puts Liv over the top rope. Liv fights back and climbs to the corner to jump back in. But Lana pulls her back down, and Liv Morgan is eliminated. It's the second one gone. And the two commence in a mighty brawl. Commence in a brawl closer to the catfight of old until the security pull them apart. And yeah, that's the end of that. Number 8, Mandy. I would not have tried that if I was awake and been able to stop myself from doing stupid stuff. Number 8 is Mandy Rose. King and Graves, both on commentary during a Mandy Rose bit. Everybody brace. It did not take... because as soon as I saw King on this, I was like, this is an interesting choice for the Women's Rumble. And it was like within the... before anybody had entered, he'd already said something weird. It's like, Right, I think it referred to something as this amount of women in one match is my heaven, or something like that. And I was like, why are you in this position for this? We got a little explanation later, as a certain someone who would have been on commentary was a little bit busy. But, yeah. She goes straight for Nikki Cross, but doesn't fare too well against the crazy Scott, and Mandy Rose is down pretty quickly. Number 9 is NXT's Candice LeRae. For the second year in a row, the NXT standout gets to showcase in the Rumble. Quickly hits a beautiful lion salt on Nikki Cross. And shortly after that, Molly Holly is just chucked out by Belair. The third elimination, first for Bianca Belair. Molly Holly is out of here. Bliss knocks Mandy Rose out on the apron. She falls off, but when the camera pans round, because it's on the far side, when it pans round, you see that she's lying on top of Otis, who had rolled out and somehow realised danger was about to come. Mandy then, realising the situation, the crowd loved this spot. Mandy stands on top of him and then gets back in the ring. It's like a good for you, Otis kind of feeling. And he starts to gyrate and rub his belly and be really, really happy about what just happened. The crowd absolutely loved it. Number 10, I guess playing off of that, Sonya Deville enters, the other half of Fire and Desire. The crowd are still chanting for the gyrating Otis. By the time that Sonya Deville's hit her knees and kicks and everything, still chanting for Otis. After lots of kicks, her and Rose take down Mercedes Martinez before dumping her over the top. I guess nice seeing you, Mercedes. It was, again, she's only been signed to the company like a couple of weeks. There were two of them under that circumstance, really, who have only got signed like this month and are immediately in the Rumble and got eliminated pretty quickly. But I kind of fine with that because they've really not been in the company. This time next year, there might be massive names. Number 11 is Kairi Sane, and onto Pirate Mania you go, Kairi. She brings her hypnotic umbrella into the ring with her, so I guess that was fun for the moment it lasted. She then immediately went on to beat the crap out of everybody. Insane elbow to LeRae, right as the next entrant makes her way down, and it's Mia Yim at number 12. Straight in, eat defeat to Nikki Cross, and cue there by the ropes punchy punch. I guess it's entered that stage. Belair then lifts Bliss above her head. Nikki Cross stopped her from eliminating her. Bliss tries to stop Belair from eliminating Cross afterwards, but ends up being used as a weapon by Belair to knock Nikki Cross off of the apron. They completely failed. So that's Cross eliminated. Bliss then stays in the match by grabbing onto Belair's hair. Not the first time we'd see that. After that, Mandy Rose gets knocked out again, but is caught by the standing Otis this time. Then Deville also gets knocked off, but that's too much for Otis to handle. Rose and Deville both eliminated. Number 13 is Dana Brooke in white. So technically, it's Dana White. My jokes are on fire. She gets into it with Mia Yim, which wasn't wise. Mia Yim won. Cue more ropeside scuffles. Belair then lifted LeRae high above her head like she did to Alexa Bliss, but with no friends to save her, out goes Candice. Oh, poor Candice LeRae. That's 5 eliminations for Bianca Belair already. The Michelle McCool record is not making it past tonight. That is the thing. And Kairi Sane eliminates... Oh, sorry, the wrong way around. Kairi Sane gets eliminated by Alexa Bliss in kind of the fashion that it just happened. It felt like at this point that folk were just getting eliminated all over. Like they weren't going to be in the match for very long and they got eliminated pretty quickly. It was an interesting first half. 14, as the interesting first half continues, is Tamina. She back. And she gone. The 6 for Belair. Welcome, Tamina. At number 15 is Dakota Kai. I really need to get back on NXT. It's taken me a while to figure out these themes and who they belong to. As I hear it, I'm like, no, nothing. Oh, Dakota Kai. Oh, I like Dakota Kai. She beats the crap out of Dana Brooke. Alexa Bliss then eliminates Mia Yim, as that feeling of people just getting eliminated pretty quickly just continues to happen. And we're down to 4 in the ring as it hits halfway. Chelsea Green enters at number 16, accompanied by Robbie E, or Robert Stone as he's calling himself now, from... It's like, it's such a different gimmick. He's like the serious businessman compared to Long Island dickhead. I've already lost monetization. Might as well jump in. Chelsea Green immediately eliminates Dakota Kai at number. So we're into second half, and that feeling is still there. but she herself gets toppled over by Alexa Bliss, so Chelsea Green is immediately eliminated. Her and Alexa Bliss and Dana Brooke get into it. Belair takes advantage, and Dana Brooke goes out, and that is 7 for Belair. And we're back to our first 2 of Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair in the ring. They both go out onto the apron, over the top rope, and then Alexa Bliss holds onto Belair's hair to try and drag her, and Belair uses that to her advantage and yanks back Alexa Bliss, pulls her back, and the Goddess goes flying into the ring post. 8 eliminations for Bianca Belair. She's the only one left in the ring now. It's just her. As she recovers, gets the 10-second countdown, and number 17 is Charlotte Flair. I was like, maybe not the best time to be the only one left in the ring. They have the awesome stare down. This was a moment the crowd really got into. The two went at it, but Flair has the energy advantage. So even though it ended with Belair actually getting the upper hand by dodging a spear into the corner, but Belair then wasn't able to stand up and really take advantage. They just waited for the next person to come down. And it's Naomi making her triumphant return. I say triumphant, she didn't win. Making her return. She had amazing hair. She returned with amazing hair. Let's look at that. Awesome double drop kick and kick up spot from her and Charlotte. And we entered a nice little fun triple threat for a little bit. So yeah, I generally enjoyed the triple threat for the minute it lasted. But maybe that helped. Number 19 is Beth Phoenix. That's why she's not on commentary. She's in the Rumble. It suddenly makes sense. Beth shows off her strength. Naomi her flying ability as she springboard back in off of the top rope after Phoenix tried to eliminate her. Slowly building in the ring, we're back to 4 as they split into 2 corners of fun. Number 20, as we reach our final 10, it's Toni Storm. Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. That's for you, Sam. She immediately goes for Charlotte and gets chops for her trouble, so bad idea, Toni Storm. Flair takes out Belair with a running high kick, or high running kick, I guess, like the corner running high kick, whatever that's called. Belair gets eliminated. I was like, I felt like they built her up pretty well, and she kind of just got eliminated by the favourite. It was like, that's a tad sad. But she felt like a star for the time she was in. So when she debuts properly on the main roster, I feel like this was a major deal for Bianca Belair. So, yeah, she got made a star in this match. Well done. Number 21, it's Kelly Kelly. She injects some fun, I guess, with her crap Hurricane Rana and her stink face. But Flair has none of it and just destroys her. So, I guess that was nice for a little while. Number 22 is Sarah Logan. After Charlotte's beaten her up every week on Raw, how will she fare tonight? She goes right after Flair and maybe busts her nose. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Beth Phoenix had blood later on, so I don't know if that was more from that on Charlotte's nose or whatever, but yeah. Charlotte kicks her right into goodbye. So Logan did not last long. Kelly Kelly tries to take advantage and eliminate Flair, which caught everybody off guard, and Logan immediately pays for it and gets eliminated. That's another elimination for Charlotte. Number 23, it's Natalya. And Natalya and Glamazon reunite. Another reunion for the night. Clotheslines for everybody. This is the point where I realised Beth Phoenix had been cut open with half of her hair down the back of her head was coated in red with an accidental rhyme. Yeah, so she both looked like a badass and it's kind of like, oh crap, she has been cut. I didn't notice that. Jack Bauer 24, it's Xia Li. She's back in the Rumble again and kicks everybody again. Even Charlotte can't escape. And we are with 5 in the ring with 6 left to go. Number 25, it's Zelina Vega. I'm assuming with another video game cosplay thing, but I don't video game that much. And I know she does more fighting game stuff, which I don't get the references for. Spinning DDT for Naomi, which looked awesome. Rana for Phoenix. And just straight up kicks for Toni Storm. Natalya and Beth Phoenix try to eliminate Charlotte Flair at this point. Going after the favourite is smart. Well done. But no one gets eliminated. And number 26, it's Shotzi Blackheart, our second recent NXT recruit following Martinez. And we get our Naomi spot. I didn't see who did it, but she's pushed down the stairs and she then managed to, I guess, balance herself and jumps onto the barricade like Morrison way back in the day. She then sits up top of the barricade and shimmers her way down to the announce tables. and just stands there when our next person comes down. It's Carmella with a very shiny get-up as Naomi, it then cuts to Naomi pondering her situation. It's just a funny contrast with Carmella kind of running in with her really, really sparkly outfit, and then it cuts to Naomi who's like, I am in a pickle. So I quite like that. But yeah, Carmella does about 20 rotations with her head scissors. Phoenix then hits the Glam Slam on Charlotte. Carmella had been taken down at that point. Phoenix hits the Glam Slam on Charlotte. Then into the corner ring post goes Charlotte as she falls to the outside, but through the ropes, so she isn't eliminated as she crashes to the mat. And number 28 is Tegan Nox. Remember, Naomi's still on the table. She's not figured out her predicament yet. Tegan Nox enters. She's from Wales. But Phoenix Glam Slams her right into Night Night Land. So sorry, Tegan. Number 29, it's Santina. What? So I'd seen people had given a few rumours that Santina Morella was either at the arena or in the area. And people were like, oh, that'll be a funny thing to do with this men's rumble. He comes out and gets destroyed by Lesnar or something like that. Because he's quite funny. He has to walk up to the big strong guy, and somebody just put out there, it's like, oh, but what if he comes out as Santina? And just every reaction would comment was like, they're not that stupid. Right? Nope, they did it. I assumed WWE would pretend this character never existed. But I guess if they are going to have him exist, have Beth Phoenix beat the hell out of the character that pooped all over her division a decade ago. As in, this is our sign of progress. We will beat the crap out of what you represented. He puts on the Cobra, and then after seeing the faces on Natalya and Beth Phoenix, he's like, ah, crap. And then hits himself with the Cobra, kind of falls backwards into the ropes and kind of topples himself over. Personally, maybe it would have been a little bit better if the women had at least beaten the crap out of him a little bit, or just thrown him out immediately, like, get out of here, you joke, kind of thing. But he said he got a funny elimination. So it did not go down well on Twitter, is all I'm saying. Maybe they could have twisted this into, we know now that, in today's world especially, this was not a smart character to have portrayed. I don't know, it's not aged well. It wasn't good at the time, and it's aged even worse. So having the women beat the crap out of him because of what he did to their division, yeah, I would have been down for that, but they didn't do that. So it's kind of like, oh, she's there for comedy. I think they missed the point of what they probably should have done here. But it did set up the super serious final entrant in Shayna Baszler. No Sasha Banks for you. I don't know if that's because of a legit injury or because they set up the injury knowing that she wouldn't be in the match. Because maybe if they wanted Charlotte Flair to win, just putting Sasha Banks in the match could have turned people on it. So, yeah. So, no Sasha for you. But we do suddenly get our one hell of a favourite in Shayna Baszler after Survivor Series. She goes straight for Charlotte Flair and sends her crashing into the steps, not forgetting that Charlotte Flair was still on the outside for this. Then Shayna Baszler enters the ring. Xia Li flies out. Tegan Nox quickly follows. She then choke clutches Zelina. I can't remember the actual name for it. And Zelina, it doesn't last much longer. Shotzi Blackheart then tries to repeat her NXT Royal elimination. If on NXT they had a Battle Royal number 1 contenders match, which Bianca Belair won, but in it, Shotzi Blackheart eliminated Shayna Baszler in a massive moment. So they did a repeat of that spot, which is interesting to see on the main roster. But she failed and outwent Shotzi, so it's another elimination for Baszler. Naomi, with I guess the thing that has the Royal Rumble logo on it on the announcer's desk, she used that to build a bridge from the announcer's desk to the steps, and she kind of scuttled across that. It was just kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. So, whoa. And Baszler, at that point, eliminates both Carmella and then Toni Storm. Naomi jumps in for the rear view. No rear view for you, Naomi. Out she goes. That's 7 since Baszler's entered, already eliminated. And Corey Graves called it picking all the bones. So he entered 30 and ate the scraps. It's like, yeah, I kind of like that line. Heart attack from Natalya and Phoenix. Putting them together and swinging the momentum. But then Beth turns and eliminates her friend. Every woman for herself in this one. Baszler tries to take advantage of that and fails. Then Flair comes on to try and eliminate Baszler. She also fails, but we have our final 3 and our stare down between Flair and Baszler. Phoenix then runs along to try and eliminate Flair, but Baszler catches her and out she goes. With Flair still on the outside, she tries to skin the cat, but Baszler grabs her legs and pushes her back down. Second try caught again, but the leg strength is too much and out topples the Queen of Spades. Charlotte Flair wins in a very, I guess, fine up and down Rumble. I don't know, there were parts I really, really liked, and there were parts where I was kind of like, this is feeling weird. So I don't really know. Maybe I need to rewatch it when I'm not tired at a decent time. But yet the crowd didn't really cheer for Charlotte Flair's victory. It was fun, but with only one winner built beforehand, there really wasn't much hype going in or out of this. Personally, I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it. I didn't hate it. There weren't, even though loads of NXT entrants came in and were immediately eliminated, even though Charlotte Flair was the only ever person that was going to win, I was fine with it. I guess I didn't really mind that much. But I didn't hate the match. I didn't love the match. I guess is one way of saying it. But my biggest issue really being that there wasn't much excitement coming out of this match when there wasn't much hype going in either. They didn't manage to spin it around. And Charlotte Flair winning, she's already cemented on top, so it doesn't really progress anything. It keeps the status quo. Only my kind of like my main downside is Royal Rumble can be used to accelerate into something. This is the opposite of that, unless Charlotte Flair challenges somebody like Rhea Ripley, which I don't expect to happen. Getting Lynch Flair again is my assumption. There was a post-match promo. Charlotte Flair reminded everyone the division is hers. WWE have a lot more work on their hands to generate some hype onto the road to WrestleMania this year compared to last year. A decent Rumble, if nothing spectacular. The Made Banana star, Phoenix came across as a badass. Baszler came across as a badass. But Charlotte Flair winning doesn't exactly inject a load of energy into the division going to WrestleMania. Right, as I click about again. Right, as I said earlier, I've deserved my drink. Now, just some water. I will say, I was somewhat dreading going live with this at such a late time. But that first hour has absolutely flown by for me. So, yeah. So, next up, if I get my notes back up, it is bloody SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley versus Lacey Evans. In the post-Rumble death spot. I missed a fair bit of this as I went to the toilet, made some tea and whatnot. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles met the same fate last year. Like, as much as I may like them, 4 hours is a long show. And as we were about halfway through it at this point, Imp needs his hot drink, damn it. I can't sit there for the entire 4 hours without refreshing, especially this late at night. I got back just in time to see Bayley get kneed in the face, followed up by a series of things from Lacey Evans. She tried to do her high-flying, I guess it was pay-per-view, let's up the ante and the stakes by doing something super impressive, but she fluffed both of them. I can commend her for trying to pull out the pay-per-view level athletics. There were quite a few shots of Lacey Evans' daughter as we revisit the same AJ Styles and Kofi Kingston parent storyline. This feels no different to them. So, I mean, they've essentially done the same story 3 times in a year and a half. Hooray! But this time it's with women, so it's different, right? Same story. Evans goes for her awesome pop-up moonsault thing, but Bayley got her knees up and then grabs the tights during a pin. 1, 2, 3. Bit of a surprise it came there. Short and sweet, and this one's over. Well, it was short and sweet for me, because I don't know how much I missed, because I was just refreshing myself, essentially. And there were shots of the daughter looking pissed. So, yeah. Cool, I guess. This was it was in the post-Rumble death slot. So it was very difficult to get into what I saw. The crowd didn't sound super into it, but again, I joined a little bit late. And things didn't get much better for him. For number 4 was the WWE Universal Championship in the strap match. The Fiend Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan. So first notes, I'm so happy commentary was finally silent for that. I can't probably say it. They were finally silent for the Fiend's entrance once again. First time since SummerSlam they said nothing. It's such an awesome thing to just soak in. And it was great that we actually finally got to do it for the first time since SummerSlam. They've talked over everyone, and they didn't do it here. and it was all the better for it. Personally, I'd never speak over it again. I don't know, maybe I can let it go over the smaller pay-per-views and that makes the bigger pay-per-views interesting, but personally I would never talk over it. But I guess for a smaller pay-per-view to kind of hammer home, to kind of add something to that pay-per-view that this isn't as big as the other ones, you could maybe talk over it then. And it's little things like that kind of cement that this is a smaller show. It's like little points. However, I'm not particularly happy that my PlayStation 4 that I was watching the show on lost internet and I missed the first few minutes of this. So I was away refreshing, missed a bit of Bayley versus Lacey Evans, come back and finally down to sit down and my PlayStation loses internet. Like it wasn't anything super major. Like it came back within a minute. Well, not a minute. It came back in a few minutes, so I didn't have to do anything. So yeah, not a great streak. Not a great streak for Imp since the end of the Women's Rumble in terms of me actually being able to watch the show. I call it the Stephen Bell curse lives on. The one night that he returns to does a little bit of the wrestling Twitter, I immediately start to lose internet on things. The curse lives. I get back into this match in time for Daniel Bryan kicking the Fiend in the dick 5 times before DDTing on the German announce table. Yes, that was my introduction to the match. And now the whipping begins on the Fiend, is what the commentator said. I can see Bryan's got whip marks all over him, so I'm assuming he's already been victim. So I can draw that conclusion even if I didn't see it. So this is followed by lots of whipping out of the ring, then in the ring, then put together with some stomps to the face. Daniel Bryan then starts to conduct the crowd into yes chants as he hypes up his finisher. He charges towards Bray Wyatt, but it's countered into with Bray Wyatt snatching Daniel Bryan out of midair into one hell of a Sister Abigail. I thought this looked amazing. So all the kudos there. And yeah, it looked great. Daniel Bryan fought back into it. Another running knee, this time hit successfully. And followed by the label lock. And with label lock locked in with the strap, of course the Fiend doesn't tap Michael Cole. What a weird thing to think that would happen. So yeah. Bray Wyatt broke the hold and then continuously started punching poor Daniel in the face before whipping him again. Goes for Sister Abigail, countered into a roll-up. This time nailing the running knee properly. Another kick out. Breathes in the yes chants from the crowd to hype himself back up. But in the background, we get the shot of the Fiend standing back to his feet. And then they look eye to eye and creepily laughs. Which was kind of an awesome moment. I like how it's different from The Undertaker, where it's not a sit-up, it's a full-on stand. So I like that. So Bryan then tries to whip him, but it's kind of pathetic. It doesn't work. The whips are kindly met with a mandible claw, and then a mandible claw chokeslam thing, and that's it. Bray Wyatt retains. That was interesting, I guess. I'd call it my least favourite Fiend match of the Fox era, because that eliminates the Hell in a Cell match, and I've got reasonable stuff to compare it to. I did miss the first, half of it though, so maybe it's not exactly fair for me to call a ruling on this. But yeah, after that the Fiend teleports away in spite of being strapped to Daniel Bryan. There's a little point there. We get to see Daniel Bryan aided by the medical staff with a close-up of the bloody welts on his back. He's sacrificed for our sins tonight. He drags himself to his feet before collapsing again and being helped to the back. Amazing post-match selling from Bryan here. The first man, in terms of going forward as well, he's the first man to get battered by the Fiend, change, as in revert back to a past self, and then fight back again before getting battered again. So what happens now? Does he revert even further? It's untouched territory, if it's territory that we talked about at all. I'm intrigued to see what happens, because I love the character and story parts of the Fiend character. Opinions on the match? I don't know. Yeah, Daniel Bryan definitely sacrificed for our sins. That's all I can say. Anyway, another chat message before I get into the next bit. Oh no, it'll be our final match. Bloody hell, I've powered through this. Oh, well. Yeah, I guess I'll leave the comment for the end then. As I've only got one more match to do. I'll load up on water though. Here we go. Alright, get your chat things in. I'm going to end after this one. Anyway, so it's a Raw Women's Championship. Becky Lynch versus Asuka 2. In my head, I can't remember if they face off at other pay-per-views, but I'll call it 2 because it's the Rumble in the Rumble. Crappy CGI masks with awesome wrestlers. I really like how this match is the final singles match before the main event Rumble, really highlighting Becky's climb to the top over the past year really nicely. And it was the differences between the two after this last year that were being highlighted that, again, I really liked. For me, the biggest difference being that how even this match was compared to the last one, with Becky bringing just as many kicks and heavy hits as Asuka was herself in the first half. The Irish lass grabbed momentum early on after dropping Asuka. I want to call it a front suplex. I don't really know. Tim Rose with a funny tweet about it, saying that this is I'm playing a video game, and my wife says, "Oh, can you put the kid to bed?" and does the gif of Asuka lifting and getting shoved. And then, like, back to the game I go. Yeah, it made me laugh. Look at the tweet. I didn't do it justice. But yeah, it was off the apron, flat to the outside. Also, and Asuka made it look like it was like the death. This time, compared to last year, Asuka was the one having to fight her way back in over most of the first half of the match. Whenever she did, Becky came back with something harder. Hip attack into the ring post. Well, you enjoy a Brett's rope rock bottom from the man. Just something bigger to really take Asuka back down. But it's Asuka. All she needed was one moment, a quick double knees counter, and eventually the momentum swung into the Asuka lock, and then delivered one mighty kick, which was sold really well. The referee was checking on Becky as if she was legit knocked out. He pushes Asuka away as if he's going to call something, and as he then turns to, I guess, the ring bell people to call something, the champion grabs his leg to stop him, and hello, more Asuka kicks, which completely took her out, and it's like, oh crap, is this going to be the end here? It was an awesome near fall. Then that led to the end where, going to end it, Asuka got caught, and Lynch gets close to locking in a disarmer but doesn't do it. Asuka slips away, and then we're finally at a point of even Stevens. This final point is a very quick back and forth as the two rise to their feet, fast back and forth. Asuka loads the mist, but Lynch super kicks her and the green mist sprays into the air. And then she locks in the disarmer. The disarmer gets locked in, and there's nothing Asuka can do. She taps, and Becky Lynch has kicked the one last she couldn't on her rise to the top. Well done to Becky Lynch. This was a fun second round match, which you don't know. It's weird. This felt like this was the second round, and I want to say of 3. We've had the one where semi-even, but Asuka had most of the momentum. The second one was semi-even, but Becky had most of the momentum. I'm looking forward to match number 3, where it's even for most of it. I don't know how you can... you need time to get that across, and WWE doesn't always give them time, but I'd give them 30 to get that right. And I'd love to see that. Where they've had these first 2, then you do match number 3 properly to settle it. It's like, yeah, I'd be down for that. But yes, this was a fantastic match, and then send it in. Only downside is the crowd were a tad tired. They just wanted the men's rumble to begin. It was an awesome rumble, and it was kind of like worth it, but yeah, they were tired. They were ready for it to end, which kind of showed by a lot of the reaction. They were popping for the mental stuff, and I guess this could be the end type of stuff. But they weren't super into it. I thought the match was great, even if the reaction wasn't particularly there. So, yeah. Overall, I'd say positive, really, for the Royal Rumble. Again, I had a bit of a few issues with I myself was not there to be able to watch 2 of the matches, really, after the Rumble, so I can't really say. It felt like it went to a bit of a lull, but again, I wasn't really there, so I can't really say. I generally enjoyed the men's Rumble, really particularly. The women's one had peaks and troughs, but I really enjoyed the peaks. And the opener was fun. It's a Royal Rumble where I don't think when I go back to watch it, I don't think I'll feel inclined to watch anything outside of the Rumbles. Which I think is kind of like, for these mega shows, is like the major pushing back point about them. It's in terms of re-watching in the future, they're just way too big of an overhaul to do, and the lulls are too apparent to really watch the entire show. It feels more like just watch the Royal Rumbles, and you get 2, so you still get a mighty worth out of it. But yeah, that brings me to the end of this. I was just about to sign off, and I remembered really smartly that I'm meant to be reading the comments I got. Anyway, so before I sign off, let's just quickly look. Kath, gonna listen to the whole Aftershock show tomorrow. Go, Imp, go. I bloody pedalled hard. I've powered through this at 5:30 in the morning that it currently is. I've done pretty well by myself. The notes help. 100% the notes help. We'll just check. I have read all of my notes. I've not forgotten something. I have not forgotten anything. That's bloody great. Oh, right. Thank you for listening to this. What were your opinions on the WWE Royal Rumble 2020? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What about the winners? What do you think about that? What do you think about how they handled Brock Lesnar as well? I guess Shayna Baszler in that as well. Bianca Belair being so dominant. If you've got really strong opinions about the singles matches, which aren't normally the case, but some people will have them, tell me what you think. And rhyme. I'm tired. It's time for me to go to bed. Anyway, thank you for listening. Please listen to the other shows on LOP Radio. I need to plug my stuff. Actually, no, plug my stuff. You can follow me on the Twitter at @thedamnimpacat. I posted a column yesterday which was about the 2020 Royal Rumble and who I thought should win. I went with Charlotte Flair and Roman Reigns as who I thought was going to win. So that I might post all of the notes I used for this as a column itself. We're not decided yet. I might hit up people about that before I do it. I'll do that tomorrow. I need to go to bed. It's 5:30 again. I'm not mental. I'm mental enough to do this. I'm not also going to post a column. Anyway, so I will also be back on Thursday with Imp's LOP Radio Adventure, talking more, I guess, Royal Rumble stuff, and it'll be the aftermath as well with Monday Night Raw having already aired. SmackDown's on Friday. I go live Thursday, so I can't really work with that. But please do check out the other shows on LOP Radio. So today was reserved for WWE post Aftershocks. Monday is Kingdom of Honor with Jaman and his friend Jeff talking Ring of Honor and New Japan. Tuesdays, I think they've moved, so I'll leave that one. Wednesdays is the final few episodes of Planned Sports Entertainment is Dead, as he's got his final few guests going through matches. Then after Dynamite, we've got Dynamite After Dark with Janman and Jeff, who will be live immediately after the episode. Talk about that. We might also have some NXT coverage coming in the near future, but obviously don't want those to be immediately one after the other, so they will get spaced out. Thursdays is me. Fridays is also our NWA The Legacy series, which is following the new NWA show. The first show aired last week, so you want to go check that out as well. And I think that's it. Saturdays is reserved for AEW Aftershock. That was it. Right, I'm going to bed. Thank you for listening, you weird people. Don't ask me why. So thank you for listening to the Aftershock. In terms of Aftershock, it will be back for, I don't know what's next, if it's WWE or if it's AEW. There is a New Japan thing, but that weekend is my brother's birthday weekend, so I can't do it. So unless Jamman is able to do a New Japan thing or somebody, I won't be able to cover it. So likely to be the next time will be either WWE or AEW, depending on who it is. I was about to say something else, but yeah. Oh, there won't be one for the Saudi Arabia thing because I've not watched a single one of those shows. I'm never going to. So I won't be doing Aftershocks for them, obviously, if I don't watch them. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for listening to this. Hit me up on the Twitter I just plugged. Go to my columns. Go to all the Laws of Pain columns. Check out all the other Laws of Pain shows. Hit the forums as well if you want to do Right and or this or whatever. It's a perfect place it's where I got started. Perfect place for everybody to get started. And with that, I say thank you for listening and I bid you adieu. Adios.